There aren't enough hours in the day. We've all heard somebody say this, we've probably said it ourselves or even thought it. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to get more hours out of your day. Because as songwriters, we have a lot to accomplish in a short amount of time. And so often I've heard people say, I didn't have enough time. If there was only another hour, the song would have been so much better. We're going to look at a way to make that happen. And there's 4 steps to making this happen. These 4 steps are realizing that your project is made up of little parts. 2, identifying individual and team, what I call dependent tasks. 3, doing it now rather than later. And number 4, what I call leveraging a 20, which is going to allow you to have a 25-hour workday. So first, realizing that your project is made up of little parts. I find this really helpful, and just as a mindset and a mental activity alone, it can be daunting when thinking about a finished song when you're starting with about nothing. Remembering just that little steps will get your project done, just that alone will re-gear you to move on to step 2, which is to identify some individual dependent tasks. These are tasks that somebody else is either waiting on or you need somebody else to accomplish in order to begin yours. Often in a song we have many of these. For example, somebody might be waiting on the finish of a chord progression in order to start a melody over it. Somebody might be waiting on a melody in order to add lyric. Note these tasks because these are often bottlenecks in a songwriting project and can often frustrate a group. If you navigate these and address these quickly, you can move on to other parts of the project that aren't so dependent on your one accomplishment. A songwriting group works really efficiently when somebody accomplishes their task. If I'm responsible for writing a chord progression and I know a vocalist is going to work on a melody over that, the sooner I get that part off to the vocalist, they can be doing their work while I'm doing something else. Which brings us to the idea of do it now rather than later. When you think about the dependent situation I just described, if I put off doing something now, all of a sudden everybody's waiting on me. If that vocalist is waiting on my chord progression, and then a lyricist is waiting for that melody, and maybe producer is waiting to build other tracks from that vocal, everybody's at a standstill if I'm not doing my part now. So look for these places where other people are waiting on your task and do them now. It will make a huge difference in your writing experience. You'll accelerate the process amazingly, and people will be much happier working with you. The final point is what I call leveraging a 20. And this is a simple, helpful tool, which again ties into the previous idea of doing it now. Leveraging a 20 is simply a term I've come up with for saying, hey, finding 20 minutes to do something, because 20 minutes is not impossible. We all live busy lives. However, there's 3 spots in the day I found that are really useful for finding 20 minutes. One is waking up 20 minutes earlier to accomplish a few tasks. One is going to bed 20 minutes later. And the other is pulling about 20 minutes out of a lunch break. And almost everybody can do that. And if you do those 3 places, you have an extra hour of the day, and that's why I call it a 25-hour workday. Again, in summing up, the 4 main points that will really save you a lot of time and gain you a whole lot of productivity are that realizing your project is made up of small little tasks, identifying individual and group dependent tasks, doing it now rather than later, and then leveraging a 20. Doing all 4 of these things will be super helpful for your songwriting teams.